Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Great having you guys coming back here. I appreciate from the bottom of my heart for you continuing support. This channel is doing well. We are growing in community. We're hitting subscribers of 525. Again, maybe we're gonna hit 1,000. The dreams will be coming down to us. It will be happening. I can guarantee that because we're talking about things we love. We're not doing this for the money. We're not doing this so people can go out there and stop buying watches that we're talking about on the channel. We're doing this because this is a corner, this is an area in our life that we can find our commonality. We can find a shared passion. And you know what? In return, it's going to give us a healthy and positive spirit to enhance the overall quality of our life. Okay, so thank you again for your support. For keep giving me the motivation and passion to keep this channel growing, and let's have a all great future. Okay, so with that out of the way, today, look guys, I've been wanting to do this topic for a little while now, but I just gonna smash it out today because I believe I have a pretty good logic in terms of buying a small collection of three watches. And you see, in my early on collection journeys, I start, of course, right, just like you guys, I watched tons of YouTube videos out there, watch channels from all different, my mentors, my mentor Brendan Robb. Of course, I never met him before, but I really borrow a lot of spirit from this channel. I watched Bruce Williams channels a lot. I watched TGVs. Of course, there's so many great names out there. But part of the reason why I want to do this in my style is because I find when a lot of other channels covering how to build a collection, up to $1,000, how to build a collection up to 5,000. Of course, we're talking about different price tiers there, but as we know, in our space, we're talking about affordable entry-level iconic Seikos. And I truly believe, because this channel is about love, love what you have. It's not about, I'm gonna show what's the best bang for buck of, a racing car. You're gonna buy it. No, it's about knowing the details and things that you fall in love with each piece and having a pride when you earn them, when you have them. And you know what? With your life moving on, you're gonna move on to a different watch collection journey by the end of your, in your 30s, in your 40s, and guys, that's okay, because, be frankly, I'm in my mid 30s now. I don't anticipate myself having the same watch collection by the time that I'm in my mid 40s. Life goes on. That's why the company, that's why grades, that's why a brand like Seiko, like, you know what I mean, right? Those brands, they will keep innovating. They will keep looking at their demographics, ask the customers what they want when they're hitting different life goals, different income levels, and different life journeys, and really produce timepieces that suits their style and their needs. Okay, but for now, I think this is going to be a great topic because we're going to help all the young folks to enter into the hobby of having a limited amount of budget, but at the same time, they want to have a great trio collection of Seikos, the one that maybe they can move on from and not losing a lot of money and a lot of faith in what they has. So this trio is gonna give them a great experience. It's gonna give them a great taste of what great design and legendary iconic status. Some of those watches, of course, not all of them perhaps, but it's going to give them a great journey. It's going to serve the purpose really well in their early collection journey, and by the time they're ready to move on from it, they'll have a great sense of pride. Okay, so today we're talking about a classic Seiko trio. We're going to build this collection trio for under $500, and I'm just going to give you my logics for now. So we're looking at, this is how I look at it. So I'm talking to students out there, right? Your age, probably high school students, 15, 16, 18. That you guys, some of you might doing a part-time job, earning, a couple $100 a week, and maybe $100 or so, or you're out of school already. You didn't do uni. You sort of getting their first job. I don't know. I'm just making those numbers out there. $15,000 to $20,000 a year pre-tax. I don't know how much tax you pay in your own country, but typically, if you're doing a full-time job, hopefully that's where you land right now, right? With how much inflation going on. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard to make a living. Now, so that's the demographics I'm hoping this video will be addressed to, because, guys, let's be frank, right? A company executive or higher managers is not gonna look this video and buy this watch. Of course, they still can have it in their collection, but I think they will benefit the most because I was there, right? I was hoping someone delivered this message or give me the advice back in the days when I was young, and I would have really appreciated it because, again, by the end of it, I think those watches are gonna give you a great experience in your collection journey. Okay, so in order to achieve the goal and within the budget, there are a few major criteria the trio has to have. Number one, the watches. Look, we're not buying watches to show someone else that we're wearing them, but the watches need to have a following. The watches need to be known. Of course, we know Seiko brand, but they produce so many watches. Then the watches need to be known. And the reason why I address this point is because by the time they're moving on from the trio collection, of course you can keep that trio in your collection for a long term. But let's say you moving on to your higher income bracket, you're making more money. You don't want to have three watches, too much hassle. You want to get one watches. You want to get entry level Longines, or you want to you want to buy what do you call that, the Tissot PRX chronograph, Swiss made watches, or you want to simply made up to a higher tier Seiko, that you probably will come in the time to sell them, right? If a watch is less followed, if a watch is not known altogether, I'm not talking about prices here, right? Because time in the end, time is all we have. It's gonna take a lot of time for them to sell those watches. But if a watch has a following and the watch is known, it's going to be what do you call that word? Is going to be very liquid. You put them on the forum, you put them on the Facebook market or the watch forum, you will get sold within 24 hours if the price is right. So that's what I find is important to know, because you can buy a watch that you like, but nobody else knows. It just becomes a nightmare when you're trying to sell it. Doesn't matter what price you're talking about. Okay, so that's the first criteria I think is important. The second criteria is the watches, the trio has to have utility. So utility here means you're young, you're out and about. You're going on the camps, you're going hiking, you're doing sports activity. Of course, it depends on what you do, but you want a watch to be robust enough, right? You get into the pool, you want to make sure, or doing for a dive, a saturation diving, whatever kind of dive you want to do, you want to make sure the watches has a certain amount of water resistance to be sealed properly, so you don't have to worry about it, of course. And that carries through from day-to-day life to the weekend to the special activities. The third criteria I think it really has to fit is the lifestyle. Okay, I'm thinking about young people between sort of 16, 18 to 20. Your lifestyle is very vibrant. You're everywhere, all over the places. You jump between jobs. You jump between you're catching up with friends, to catch up with your mates in the coffee shop, and you're playing basketball. You're doing a sports session by the end of the day, right? So the watch is gonna be energetic. It has to fit these demographics well, right? If I'm in my, I'll just give you, if I'm in my late 50s or late 60s, of course, unless I'm a watch hobbyist, I know I can have whatever in my collection that I'm feeling proud of. But lifestyle is gonna be appropriate to your age. I think those three watches give you different dynamics, and I think it's gonna be great for that young audiences out there. Okay, lifestyle. Now the last thing is variations. Variations is also important too. I'm talking about variations in style, in dimensions, and most important in colors, because you're not gonna lay those three watches on your desk. What you wanted to do is you want to spend. Again, I'm just making a budget. You want to spend $30 to $50 buying a nice trio 3-slot watch box, and you want to put them nicely in your watch box. So every day when you pick them up, you get to look at them. You get to look at them, and you get to pick and choose. Again, depending on the activity on the day, and that's going to be a great outcome, because all those watches are going to be protected, and all those watches are going to be cared within that box. And by the time again you're moving on from your collection, they're gonna be as a mint, right? So it's gonna be easy to liquidate, easy to sell, and you know what? The most important thing, the next buyer will enjoy the hell out of it as a mint condition watch. So think for the long term, okay? So again, those are the key criteria I think is a critically important and well articulated to address the important factors when you're building entry Seiko iconic divers and other stars watches on the 500 that you're gonna feel a sense of pride. Okay, good, fantastic. So let's talk about prices first. How this is gonna make on a 500. Now, first thing to note is all those watches you buy that you see here are not the OEM bracelet the watch came on with. So if you're buying the watch as it is, if you just look it up the model names, it will not come with the bracelets on top of it. Okay, so the bracelets will be additional expenses. However, the watch is really the icon here, right? That carries the main characteristics of the watch, and I think, you know what, you can add the bracelet in the future. Now, first of all, those two watches we covered in the previous video, that you can still buy them brand new. This is the Raycraft SKM 97, brand new, can be had from Mark's Long Island Watches for $159. This is, we call this baby Rolex killer. I believe you can buy brand new from Creation Watches for $150 USD as well. So you have those two watches. You can buy them brand new, of course. If you can score a second hand for, let's say, 60% of those prices that I mentioned, that's a good deal. Okay, so there's a bit of movements and flexibility on here. Those two watches shouldn't cost you more than 300. So between 280, between 250, you want to buy them in mint condition second hand. You buy brand new, $300. You're gonna cover those both. Okay, so you've got another $200 to go, which you guys know there's no way you can buy a brand new SKX K version or J version. This is the J version 009 for 200 USD. However, if you're looking at used, I will actually say mint condition. I've just looked it up on the watchcharge.com. There are plenty of people selling between that 225 to 250, and they're good condition. And if you're willing to make the compromise to buying K version for 185, I'm pretty sure that's achievable, or $200. Okay, so you have those two, that adds up to 300. You want to slap another 200 on top of it for the SKX 009. You have a $500 trio collection. That is amazing. Again, because I believe they tick all the criterias. Okay, now first we're talking about, you know, following and known. They're all well known. We don't have to talk about the SKs. They are legend. They are more than well known, right? However, those two, I really believe they have a good following. Look it up. The Raycraft Green SKM 97. If you look on the forum, there are tons of YouTube videos done about those watches. And here's the thing. Because this watch still carries the old 7S movements, and then naturally, as we know, Seiko is not going to make them forever. And highly likely, they're going to discontinue them. I can't make a judgment call there whether Mark's, for example, Mark's on Long Island Watch is still getting brand new stock from Seiko's official channel, but I doubt he's still selling the new stock. He's selling what he had on the shelf. That, again, personal belief based on what I see in terms of price movements and ranges for the Raycraft. So I believe they are going to go very soon. Once the stocks are completely dry out on those green, beautiful Raycraft watches, the price will stay extremely well, if not going above retail, which I think retail is about 250 USD. You can still buy them brand new at 150. You can't go wrong, guys. Okay, so this is a beautiful Raycraft. I think fantastic. Okay, the second one from a following standpoint is the baby Rolex killer. This watch has been covered to depths and depths by some of the biggest channels on the planet Earth. Okay, so in my little humble channel, it's my pleasure to talk about this because this watch has its magic. So from a following standpoint, I don't have to mention anything about this little hyped up SNXX79. Of course, this is the J version. There is the K version. If you can find out cheaper, and if you wanted to make the compromise, go for it. But again, from a following standpoint, those three watches tick the box. Second one, criteria that we have to make sure they're satisfied is utility. Okay, let's say, you know, you're going on a camp, right? You're going on the camp. Which watch to take, right? You're gonna dive into the river, or you're going down the beach. You want to play with your friends in the water. Without a shadow of a doubt, SKX, ISO certified diver. Nothing else to say about it. This watch will survive. Okay, so, and then you know what, it's on a weekend, you want to have a bit of relaxation with your friend. You guys going out in the pub, you want to wear something short, you're doing a jeans and shirt, you know, a short sleeve shirt. Then something like this, a very unique, extremely presentable. Actually, let me just do on the wrist shot when it comes to the utility. So I'm still rocking my first vintage 6 459-608. Every time when I think about the model name, I literally have to close my eyes. That's how I can remember it, right? So this little beauty here, mid-size diver, this was from 1981, guys. Okay, now I just put it on the side, right? So still in the camera, make sure we're getting a bit of nice capture on that beautiful orange dial. Now, so on the weekend, you know what, you're going out with your friends. I'm wearing a short today. You know, it just looks absolutely fantastic. It has all the charisma that the watch can have in terms of utility. You know, if you compare that with the brown leather strap, I think it's going to look absolutely magnificent. This is a 24mm lock width. I'm pairing that with the strap habit. Piece of rice bracelet. It looks like a beast, guys. So from from a weekend standpoint, if you go into a bar, if you go into a barbecue catch up, you're going out with your mates in the coffee shop, of course you gotta look handsome, right? You gotta look the part. That's the foundation of you looking cool with your watches, right? So if you're muscular, if you got big arms, you're working out, I'm pretty sure this watch is gonna be perfect, okay? And from a utility standpoint, we talk about baby Rolex. Again, you're talking about if you're doing, if you're doing a part-time job, if you're getting your first job, you want to have something slim. I wouldn't say small, but a vintage feeling. And from a distance, it looks absolutely under the radar. It's gonna look amazing with a white shirt or black shirt, even a suit. Of course, no one is gonna look in detail if you watches. It is a Seiko 5, but from a utility standpoint, I tell you what, this watch will work great from the class and of your university to high school classes, from your first shopping offices. Nobody will look down his watch. They will realize you're wearing something very elegant and quality on wrist. Okay, the anthracite dial is magnificent. Okay, there you go. So I'm covering the second topic, which I think we've done here from the utility standpoint and lifestyle, guys. Again, that's probably a bit of sharing the commonality that what I just talked about. On the weekend, sports activity, you get into the pool, you get into divers, going to camp. In offices, daily wear, from the classes of your uni to classes of your high school to your first job, you're not gonna go wrong. From lifestyle standpoint, hang out with friends, getting your first interview, you're having chat with your managers, playing the water. This is making every time I want to look at this beautiful green beast of watch, I just admire how it looks. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so from a lifestyle standpoint, I think we really tick all the boxes, cover all scenarios a young folk can have in their life. Okay, last thing, variations, guys. When you look at those three, they cannot be more different from one to another than what's being already shown. Alright, just put it all together. From size wise, 37, 38. This is 45 plus, 44, 43. Sorry, excuse me, SKX 42. So size variation, you've got it. There's the old, I wouldn't call them the old slim watches, but as you can see, the SKS, because it's a professional diver, it sticks out a little bit more. But they are fantastic to wear. From a dimension standpoint, they all give you a huge different dynamics, differences when you have them on the wrist, simply because how different they are from a size perspective, from like the lug perspective, but they all dream on wrist. Okay, and the second variation that we talked about, of course, is the color. We have a couple of the most iconic, I'm sorry guys, I'm going to use that word again, but you know how green, I'll put them aside now, guys. Sorry, just to give you an individual bit of capture here. Anthracite dial was the color of choice in Seiko's first 62 mask back in 1968, and they're using anthracite dial here. It is beautiful, it is magical, it is majestic, and it's very elegant. Green and gold is a combo that will never forever die. Think about your Alpinist, the Sharp 017, of course, the new SPB line. There are tons of other watches that we know very well known using the same formula. Green and gold. Of course, you want to get that sunburst right. You want to get that reflection right. It looks absolutely magnificent under good lighting. And lastly, of course, XS, without talking about further that we know, it is a Pepsi blue dial. The blue is muted, is under the radar. The Pepsi bezel is absolutely spot on when it comes to the mixture of red and blue. It is a favorite classic. Okay, so from a variation standpoint, we know the dimensions are dramatically different. The dial color are dramatically different, but at the same time, They are well-known recipes when it comes to color choices. Okay, so dimension. In terms of variation, we'll talk about the dimension, we'll talk about the color wave, and utility wise, right? Of course, they're all three-handers, but because of the design and dimension, they're all built for different purposes. Okay, so guys, I think we've done a good job. This is a beautiful trio of collection for under 500. Of course, plus the watch box, probably 550, right? Of course, you're buying the bracelet along the way if you want to upgrade them along the next 24 or sort of 42 months. But we tick all the boxes. Well followed, well known. So when you're selling them, your mate's gonna buy it. Utility. You don't need an Apple Watch. They are durable. It will be confident to meet anything you throw at them. Lifestyle. Doesn't matter what you're gonna do for your day or what you got on the weekends. You know you've got the right watch to pick up on your wrist and be proud and feeling sense of, very proud to wear them no matter what you're gonna do on the weekends with your friends and mates, right? Variations. Different watch for different days, for different tasks. There you go. We smashed it, guys. I think we've done really well. So again, to conclude this, for young folks out there, guys, think about this. You guys are 18, 17, 20. Oh man, if I get a chance to live that age again, I'll be blessed if someone telling me those are the watches that I should consider. But again, when your life moves on, when you get to 25, 20, 30, when you start a family, maybe you'll be wearing, again, there's no disrespect for any watches. Maybe you'll be, wearing a Rolex. Maybe you saved up. You've done extremely well. You know what? You're wearing a Speedmaster, which is a fantastic watch. But while you're still young, where you still have the budget of limited money to spend, you want to focus on other stuff in your life. But at the same time, you want to look cool with your watches. Get those three. You will not be disappointed, guys. Okay, so that's being a bit of a drag on this video, over 20 minutes. But I think it is really needed because we really need to cover the information and not knowledge, but sort of the details of watch to that depth in order to make that impact. Those three watches are well selected. Okay, guys. Now, thank you so much again for being with me so far on this channel. I appreciate you. After this trio on the 500, I'll think of something doing maybe a trio on 1,000 or 1,500. But again, we have a big community. Don't forget the young people. Don't forget the young folks, students that literally just enter into the hobby. And you know what? Every time when they look on their social media, it's people flexing Rolexes. Look, I love Rolexes, right? But if that's the first impression the young people's gonna get in this hobby and knowing they can never afford something, that feeling proud, that just bugs me. I don't like that. I don't think that's the truth. Of course, you guys would agree with me. That is not the truth. So let's stand up. Let's speak up. Let's use our action and make a very informed decisions. Building a great trail collection on a 500, and you're gonna have a great time with. Okay, guys. Now, again, thank you very much, and no doubt, I'll catch you guys up in the next video. Bye, bye, guys.